Hi guys, and welcome to a little revisit of the Tripowin Lea. And I want to start by apologizing because Lea, Thea, and in my review of the Lea, I was sometimes calling it Lea, sometimes I was calling it Thea, but I want to apologize for that. But anyway, I'm sure that most of you understood, or if nobody even commented, well, I just got one comment actually. Well, if not more people commented, it's, I guess, maybe it just passed unnoticed. But anyway, I wanted to apologize for that issue. No disrespect meant to the Leia. Anyway, this is a small revisit to the Leia. Firstly, because I've been giving it a little bit more listening time. I've been trying it out with other gear. I've been trying it out with my Venture Electronics Megatron. Unbelievable piece of kit. Let me just start by saying that. Unbelievable piece of kit. With my topping NX7 in a little configuration that I did with a Kirillix 5K as the Bluetooth connection for it, and DAC, because this is just a power amp only. And I've been using as well my topping DX3 Pro and my A50S as well from topping. So been using some nice gear. I think this is let's put it as accepted as good gear, as you know, reliable, well-sounding gear. If you remember my review of the Leia, I said that I was somewhat disappointed with certain aspects of it because I had some expectations with regards to the Leia, but overall the Leia was a good sounding IEM. Perhaps its biggest deterrent, for me at least, let me just get my notes here, was the fact that I considered it a little bit thin sounding. But you know, female voices were amazing, instruments were amazing, technicalities for it is very good. I mean, we're talking $28 or something. So it is overall a very nice sounding IEM. In that first review of mine, I compared it to a few other more budget-friendly, let's put it that way, IEMs, Reecho SG-01. I compared it as well to the KZ ZEX Pro, and from that first comparison, and I maintain what I said with slight adjustments, I found overall the SG-01, for example, from Reecho to be a more engaging listen for me and for my listening preferences and for my music. I said as well that I found that the ZEX Pro was also a superior IEM, and to that extent, yes, it is still a superior IEM, but maybe not such a big difference as now. And why? Because I played around with some tips and so on and so forth, and the ones that I've got on here now are actually some final E's. And yes, the final E's did change the layer. It made it sound better. It's not as thin sounding. It's fuller. So I decided to compare it with some IEMs which I had mentioned in the first review, but I didn't really make a thorough comparison, and compare it to one or two other, let's put it, new ones. And I could have done a comparison of much bigger scale, but I said, let me leave it like this. So one of the IEMs that I compared it to more thoroughly this time was the Dunu Titan S. And I said, and I mentioned, and I maintained that these both share a very similar kind of signature and thinness to the sound. However, having said that, and with the change of tips on the Leia now is more engaging. I still prefer the Titan S. I still prefer it because there's just a bigger openness in the sound. And I'll give you an example. For example, Raising Venus from Mele. You listen. I'm going to post all of these these songs. I'll post it on on the description of my review afterwards, but for the sake of actually just showing you what I'm talking about, let me just get it here. Okay, so I'm talking about this here. So this particular track, Raising Venus, from Malia and Boris Blank. Okay, this particular song. Okay, the Dunu is just got this bigger sense of space than what the Lea can convey, and that just makes it more satisfying listen to me, at least. And I'm using that song, and I'm using other songs as well as a comparison. For example, Bruno Mueller 80s, there's a guitar in that song, and the guitar in the Dunu just sounds more realistic. One thing I just want to make clear is at no point am I saying that the Lea is playing it badly or is not. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that yes, we are comparing $25 with $70. So you would expect to be, well, an improvement if you're paying $70. And the truth is, oops, sorry about that. And the truth is, yes, it does play better. It does play better. Will this be satisfying to perhaps many of us? Probably it will. Yes, definitely. I also took out the HzSound HeartMirror, which is another IEM which kind of falls into the type of sound that these two have. These are kind of like a neutralish Harman kind of sound, if we can call it that way. This is a neutral bright sound, and some people complain about that brightness and it's excessive and it can be sibilant and so on and so forth. Personally, I'm a big fan of the HzSound HeartMirror. I think it's a fantastic IEM. Yes, it would be nice if there was a little bit more bass quantity, and to that effect, yes, I have got one which is modified. This one is not modified, as you can just, oops, let me just see, it's not modified, standard using SpinFit CP145s and a Tripowin C8 cable. Okay, and I compared it to the Lea as well. And for example, in this song, let me just show it to you because it's easier that way. This song, okay, there, this song from Monday Jelliu. It's got a guitar right in the beginning, as you can perhaps slightly pick up, and it is just unbelievable. Seriously, the way that the cleanliness, that extra detail that the HM is able to give, it just makes it a pleasure to listen to. That's the reality. It's just an absolute pleasure to listen to. Again, I'm not saying that the Lea doesn't do a good job. It does, but the HzSound does it better, period. Another song where the HzSound, for example, also is superior to the Lea is this one here. It's Kissing Blue by Yellow. Where is it? Kissing Blue by Yellow. There we go. So this song, again, this guitar that you hear, yeah, all this detail that the HM it's just better, period. And the way the voice from Heidi Happy is also comes out, it just comes out that extra little bit squeaky clean on the HM, and it's very, very engaging, very satisfying. Then I took out I got out the Mele as well, and I got this version. I've got all three versions, colors, and the blue one, which is the one I've got here, is the one that sounds the best to me. So I took this one, and straight away, as I mentioned as well in the first review, there's tons more bass on the Mele as compared to the Lea, but all of that contributes to a more pleasing, at least for me, more pleasing, more cozy sound, I believe was the word I used, presentation, and it just sounds more tonally correct. This sounds thin, like I said many times, and this thing, no. Where this does lose out to the Lea is in the ultimate detail up top, past 8-9K. But for example, if I take a song like, let me show you this one, Maria Magdalene from Meshel. You know, yes, there's a little bit that's missing up top that the Lea does it perfectly, but this basic bass line that you hear slightly in the throughout the whole song is just more authoritative in the Mele, obviously, and it just makes the song sound more realistic, in my opinion. That away. Then and I carried on my comparisons. For example, another song which I also used with the Mele, just to see how it was next to the Lea, and how the Lea would compare, was Boom Boom Power from Black Eyed Peas, and again this whole impact that is present in the music from the bass in the Mele is just correct, in the sense that it's more engaging. It gets you going. I mean, I'm sure that those that perhaps are not very bass friendly or like a more tame bass will find it's more than sufficient in the Lea. But in the Mele, that presentation of Boom Boom Pow is fantastic. I then decided to take a little bit of a detour, not a detour, but a different route, and for example, have a listen to Taste of Honey by Patricia Barber. So this particular, so Taste of Honey, Taste of Honey, Taste of Honey, Taste of Honey, this particular song here. So again, this cleanliness of the guitar, this whole sense of space, her voice when it comes in, the maracas when they start playing, that drum that you hear in the background. Yes, the Lea does it well. I mean, I'm not going to say the Lea does it badly. It's not offensive or anything of the sort. But when you listen to it, for example, and in that aspect, this time at least, I took the aria out. The aria just does it nicely. That's all. It just has a more, let's say, mature sound to it. I took out as well, and this was the most expensive one that I thought that would compare it to the Kato. And honestly, I think this song is enough to just show the difference between the Lea and the Kato. There are some similarities in the graph, yes, there are, but the Kato is it's on a different level. Seriously, it's on a different level. It just does it so much more in a so much more classy way than the Lea. Fair enough, this is almost $200, that is 25. If you want a taste of the Kato and you don't have the money, then yeah, the Lea definitely will be a good option. But the Kato does it in a seriously good way. I took out as well another song to compare with the Kato, just to make sure, so that I wasn't being perhaps biased or I don't want, like I said earlier, I don't want this to be, oh no, the Lea is not good, the Lea is, no. For what it is, it's a very good IEM, yes. Do I personally think that there are IEMs at its price point that are superior or more satisfying? Yes, I do. The SG-01 from Reecho. It's my opinion. But it is a nice IEM. It is, and like I said, with the final E tips, Yes, and oh, and by the way, these are the final E-tips from an E2000 from E2K, so it's not nothing special. Huh? It does sound better. It truly and genuinely does sound better than what it did in stock form. And I'm actually glad I did this effort to, you know, get to hear it better and also try out this kind of new approach, you know, of actually giving you guys songs that because I mean, yes, I like looking at the graphs and so on and so forth, but I'm the first one to say the graphs are half the story. Graphs do not represent the reality many times of what an IM sounds like. I mean, you just have to have a listen to what Michael Bruce from the Short Bus said recently on his review about Dark Magic, the MIM Dark Magic, where you look at the graph and you think, yeah, okay, well, whatever. And then when you listen to the IM, you're like blown away. And I'm using that as an example, but there are many other examples. Even examples in front of me. You listen to HzSound HeartMirror, and you might look at the graph and say, but this thing is going to be killer bright and blah blah. Yes, it is bright, but actually even in standard format it's not as aggressive as it might be perceived by the graph, and there's plenty bass. I mean, the quality of the bass is very good. It's just a quantity, for me at least, that might be sometimes lacking, but there are many people that don't complain about the quantity of bass in the HzSound. Anyway, like I was saying, so I took out a few other songs. I took out, for example, a song by Gregory Porter, Hey Laura, and also Holding On. And again, you know, the Kato is on a different league. I mean, the Aria does it better. The Kato just does it way better. Was it unengaging in the Lea? No, it wasn't unengaging. But you know, let's be fair and you know, when sometimes people start making these crazy comparisons, or you know, there's a reason why it costs that as well. So anyway, so for example, this song, Hey Laura, you know, the problem with the layer with this song is that the thinness doesn't really give you the idea of what Gregory Porter's voice is, while in the Kato you don't experience that at any point. You do feel that, you know, it's there. It has that warmth that's needed. The same thing applies to the other song that I heard from him, Holding On. Sorry, same thing exactly. Another song that I heard was from Cole and Ariza was Common Sense, and let me just get it here so you guys can have a quick listen. Common Sense. Where is it? Apologies. Apologies. No. Anyway, like I was saying, that's that particular song. Yeah, here we go. Sorry. So this song, you know, there's this bass line right from the beginning that it's nice if you feel it. The Aria does it nicely. The Kato does it nicely. The Mele does it unbelievably well. Even the HzSound does it slightly better than the Lea. The Lea, it's like I said, the Lea is just a little bit thin. That's all. It's nice. It's got good quality bass. It's just thin, and certain specific songs, they just require that extra, you know, input to just make them fully engaging. And yeah, that's basically it. I mean, like I said, you know, I listen to as well to Jeff Cascara, which I enjoy listening quite a lot, and Jeff has got this for example, in this particular song, The Lady Is Not Amused, you know, this drum hit, it just comes across more intense, more, well, I'm not going to say visceral, it's too strong of a word, but it just comes across the way it should with the Mele. It comes across the way it should in the Aria. It comes across the way it should in the Kato, and the Lea, and the Dunu, and to a certain extent as well the HM. they do it in a slightly more laid back manner, you know. His voice as well, it just comes, you know, it's just got more presence, more reality with some of these other offerings. Anyway, guys, I don't want to carry on bugging you with this. I just thought it would be interesting to actually give you some songs where you could actually go and listen, and maybe if you have some of these IEMs that you could then maybe make a comparison with the stuff that you have already, and if you already have some of this, actually pay attention to these little details that I was mentioning, and give you another extra take and another extra comparison of the Lea with a few other IEMs, and yeah, that's it. All right. Anyway, take care. Bye bye. Thank you.